Welcome to Crypto Fright. I'm Luna, your guide through the shadows where horror films, TV, comics, and video games all come out to play. Every week, we dig into the stories that shape the genre. The monsters who haunt it, and the creators who keep horror alive. Welcome to the crypt. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Fright. We have a very special guest in the house today, Timothy J. Cox. Hi, Timothy. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm wonderful, Luna. How are you? Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on board today. So Timothy is a SAG-AFTRA actor. He's a writer, producer. His most recent stuff is Creatures of Habit, released in June of 2024. Static Cling, which released September of 2024. And you also worked on what we're going to be talking about today, Protanopia. I hope I said that right. I'm not very good with sciencey names.
No, you did. You got it perfectly. Everyone who's ever seen it, that's the first thing they ask. So, because it's not something that, like when Matthew Mahler first sent it to me, I was like, all right, I want to go. I had to go
Yeah.
online to on one of those pronunciation sites and to hear it said back to me. So, but no, it was perfect.
Yeah, I guess I have to kind of know how to pronunciate these difficult sciencey names since I work at a pharmaceutical. So I have a little bit of an advantage here and there in some things. So how are you doing today? How has your week been so far?
Wonderful. I'm in Kettering, Ohio, which is close. It's in within Dayton, and we've just been hit with rain all week. But like we're getting flood warnings, and
Oh,
just right in the week that we're everybody's going back to school. So sorry, kids. Your first couple of days of school, you're probably going to have inside recess, which I know you like, but the teachers probably not so much.
yeah, it's been crazy the weather here as well in Florida. We've had a dry spell, no rain, and all of a sudden it rained for like a couple days straight. Actually a week straight, and we're like, whoa, flooding, and it was
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of fun to deal with.
Wow, yeah, we must be getting that now. But I mean, rain and all that, it's good for horror films, but for not for everyday living, I'm sure.
It sets a really good tone for a film, but definitely you're right. Not
Yeah,
good for actually driving and stuff.
like
And
yesterday I looked out the window and it was 2:30 and it was dark. I thought something's about to happen. Like something like gloomy, like like something John Carpenter like is about to happen.
The Thing. Oh no.
Or the fog or any of those.
And
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, The Fog. That's one of my favorites. um. So Timothy, before we kind of start talking about Protanopia, I did want to kind of go back to the beginning. What was
Mhm.
your first introduction to horror?
Oh wow. It's probably when my parents used to have the old RCA video disc, like, and I think which came out before VCRs, and they had Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2. And so Friday the 13th, the original 1980, was probably my introduction to horror films. It's funny, I just watched it again recently and I hadn't seen it in a number of years. It's a really good movie. I mean, when you think about they shot that with no money, no budget, no movie stars. It made an incredible amount of money, and the basic story of is actually quite compelling. And I mean, you feel bad for poor Kevin Bacon, who gets the spoiler alert arrow in the neck, but
Yeah,
great
he
work,
does.
great work by Tom Savini. But but no, it holds up. It does really really well. So that those first two Friday the 13th films were my and from that I kind of became a fan of the slasher films, like of course Halloween, and then all of the Graduation Day, and oh god, April Fool's Day, and My Bloody Valentine, and things like that.
Ooh.
And My Bloody Valentine was is far more gorier than, especially I think they have an unrated one, which is far more gory than the one that was I think released in theaters, but still like very very entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you on that one. I kind of like that, and one of my personal favorites is that I'm gonna be reviewing that has a similar vibe to what you were mentioning. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Mad Men. I'll be reviewing it pretty
Oh,
soon in
wonderful.
a couple weeks. So, I've always liked it, and I never understood why Jason got all the love and poor Madman never got any. It's very
Yeah.
similar vibe, but it just didn't hit.
And the thing is, as I grew up, I mean, I think they kind of course, got away from. I mean, the Friday the 13th films, I think, eventually sort of became kind of dark comedies, because it was all really about finding the most amusing ways that Jason could, killed people, and it just got almost kind of funnier as time went along. And then I remember the one where he was in New York and boxing the guy, and he hit him and knocked his head off, and of course it went perfectly into a dumpster. And just I remember, I think, being 12 or 13 and
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
that and being kind of amused by that.
Yeah, there's so many good scenes in that. My personal favorite too from Friday the 13th is the enchiladas, those gas station enchiladas, and
Yes,
then lying
yes.
in the bathroom. That I believe his nickname was Demon. Was it Demon? Damon Demon?
Demon,
Demon?
yep.
Something like, yeah. I still remember the name because that scene is just iconic, and he just gets definitely not he ends up being unalived in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
But like they were immensely popular films. I mean, they I think they were Paramount may have produced them, and like they were nice little uh extra bits of money for the studio. And of course they did very well in the VHS market, and but no, and now, with Linda Cardellini doing the series about the kind of the prequel Camp Blood. I'm looking
Oh
forward to
yeah.
that, because I think that story, and Linda Cardellini is wonderful in everything. So
Yeah,
I'm
I like
I'm looking
her.
forward.
I really appreciate her performances, so I wonder what she's gonna bring to the role.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm sure, I think that's coming just probably before Halloween, I would imagine.
Around September, I think, is
Oh,
when
cool,
it's coming out. So pretty
wonderful,
soon, pretty soon. We're just a couple of maybe a month away or so.
nice.
So, who are your favorite horror creators?
Uh John Carpenter. John Carpenter
Yay!
is I mean, he is the person that, and he's a very underrated director.
Yes.
I don't think he's ever received directors like him. David Cronenberg is another one that I really like very much. Toby Hooper. He made two of the scariest movies when I was growing up. Like, one, Poltergeist, just gave me nightmares, and then when I was old enough, I went back and saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time, and the way that all three of those directors, what they were able to do with this genre, they elevated it to a real art form. And it's a shame that that they have not. I mean, kind of like comedy. I mean, horror films are rarely acknowledged by the Academy. Although Amy Madigan deservedly won the Best Supporting Actress award last year, but I think it would be nice if John Carpenter, David Cronenberg, and Toby Hooper were acknowledged by the Academy with Lifetime Achievement Oscars. So,
Mm.
because I think those three especially, I think created the modern horror film and of course elevated. Like if it weren't for them, I don't think, I think Eli Roth would definitely owes a great debt of gratitude to those filmmakers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little up in arms with his latest film and it using AI for
Yeah,
we're not gonna talk
there
about
is that.
that. We're not
Yeah, I
gonna talk
know.
about that. We'll just appreciate his work that has no AI and has actual people working on effects and stuff like that. We'll
Sure, yeah.
appreciate that. Uh,
Mhm.
so, Timothy, as you know, it's a difference between being an audience and being a creator. Was there a specific moment when you realized that you enjoyed it so much you actually wanted to create horror, not just watch?
Wow. I have to be honest, like a lot of my work as an actor has been, working like doing dramas and comedy. But
Mhm.
when it was working really with Matthew Mahler, the director of Protanopia, he's a really big horror fan. And he kind of started introducing me to Argento and filmmakers like that. And of course, when he presented this script for Protanopia to me, this was something different for me.
Yeah.
This was, and I, of course, I had done three short films previously with Matt, and this was his first feature, and I knew that it was going to be something unlike anything I'd ever done before. And so when I read it, I knew, I said, this is going to be a fun ride. For me, how I often describe the film is that it's kind of like if David Lynch made a William Castle slash Vincent Price horror film, a haunted house film, it would be something like this. And
Mm,
so
mhm.
I think I really owe Matt a lot of credit for kind of reigniting my love of horror again, and this is a unique kind of horror film because it's kind of it's surrealist, it's strange, it's unusual, and I think that kind of makes it unique, and that's why I like the film so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And the character that you play in this film, what's the name? Can you give us a little bit about that character?
Alan Roscoe Jr. And when the film starts out, we see Alan. It's his father, who is also named Alan. Very respected man in this neighborhood, and he has recently passed away. And Alan is itching to kind of take over his father's position as like the head of the I guess the homeowners association. But the problem is that Alan does not have the respect that his father had, and so he's very shy, he's very awkward, he's quirky, I guess that's
Mhm.
to say. And when we first meet him, he's kind of preparing his home for a meeting, and he wants to make an impression, and he's very eager to want to impress everyone, and then of course he doesn't things don't necessarily go his way. Compliments
Yeah.
of a wonderful character, Janice, played by Matthew Mailer's mom, Paula, who is wonderful in the film. As a matter of fact, the film as a whole is pretty much a family affair. Matt's we shot the film in Matt's grandparents, John and Barbara's home. John,
Oh.
his grandfather, plays my father. Of course, Paula Mailer, Matt's mom, plays Janice. Matt's father Ross plays Jim, one of the members of the board, and I believe he has an aunt in there as well. So it's nice that this film it's a full blown Mailer family affair, and they're lovely, wonderful people, and so they were a real pleasure to work with.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's awesome. One of my favorite movies, is from Peter Jackson, his very first movie, not Brain Dead. Before that, we
Is it
had Bad Taste,
Escapade?
Bad
Oh,
Taste.
Bad Taste. Yeah.
But he filmed that throughout a couple of years with his friends, and he would make the alien body parts out of his mom's oven.
Hmm.
So sometimes some of the best work you do is surrounded by friends and family that inspire you. And let me tell you, that film holds up. It is
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
it does. It's well, and that's the secret. Like to anyone out there who wants to be a filmmaker, you get a camera, you get a couple of your friends together, and it's kind of like the Duplass brothers. That's how they started out. You know, they would just
Yeah.
make films, and they would say some of them stunk, but that's how they learned. You know, the more you do it, the more comfortable and you tell the stories the way that you want to tell them and make them your own and make them unique and fun and weird and scary and original.
Exactly, exactly. I definitely resonate with that. So critics have praised your performance as Alan
Hmm.
as both deeply uncomfortable and sympathetic. How do you walk that line of being both without losing your audience?
I think the Alan, I think, is kind of the audience because he
Mm.
and what you always try to do is you try to play a believable person, like an honest, because the audience will connect to that. And so Matt wrote a very, very good script, and he's a very good director and trusted me. And he lets the actors play. He Matt has a very specific idea of what of the world that he creates, but within that he gives you incredible freedom. And what I just try to do is just try to make Alan an honest person, and he goes through quite a journey in the film. He's this very
Yes.
shy, awkward guy, but as the film progresses, he kind of it's kind of like he kind of earns like what he thinks is hopefully finally his father's approval. Of course, it's for doing not so great, not so nice things, but the things that a son. But I think at the end of the day, he is someone that an audience can relate to because he is someone that wants to please his father, and he never had a chance to do that when his father was alive. And so, in this kind of strange world, he feels like that he is finally making his father happy, and that was fun to play. Like it's fun to play those kinds of scenes.
And yeah, that role was very interesting. Um, I don't know. To me, Alan's motivation was definitely very driven by obsession and search.
Mhm.
What internal anchors did you use to ground Alan's motivation?
It's really just one of the things that I always try to do in everything. I look at the script and I because it really is it's what you have from your own life that you try to bring from the characters. So I have my moments of shyness and awkwardness and all of that, and from that you try to just play it as honestly as you can. And of course, any actor, you can, when you're working, you feel when you're getting into a rhythm. And the nice thing also is that what I love is that Matt would shoot in long takes. So with that, I felt relaxed because that you can do things that that are motivated, that in the
Mhm.
intentions of the character. And when you do long takes like that, you feel like you have a little more freedom to kind of make the character your own, and to kind of add a little bit of yourself in there as well. And so, again, it always comes down to just trying to make the character as honest, but also interesting as well. He has his, he's quirky, quirky and
Yeah,
obsessive,
exactly.
and he wants this. In that opening, in that first scene, he tries to make an impression, and he makes the pie, and then Janice makes the pie, and we can all audiences can relate to that. We if
Oh,
someone
yeah.
goes to work and they want to make an impression, and no matter what you do, you're just you're just not gonna break through. And I think Alan is a man who he's so obsessed with getting the respect that he was never able to get, not only from his father, but from people in this community. I mean, and everything, it always comes down to, we want to be loved, we want to be respect, we want to be liked. And
Yeah, truly. It's just connecting with human emotions.
Mhm.
When I had my acting when I got my acting degree, I just kind of never did anything with it, but the worst thing you can do is be emotionally constipated. I love that phrase cuz some people just have nothing up here. There's just nothing going on. They're just an empty vessel, and that's you don't want that to come on the screen. You don't want to seem like you're emotionally constipated. You just
Yeah.
no emotion, nothing going on, unless you're playing like a very autistic individual that has no emotion. Then you might want to use that tool, but at the same time, learning how to get in tune with your emotions is going to help you act.
Oh, sure. And also, there's the best thing that an actor is get in touch with your emotions and not be afraid to be vulnerable. I
Yeah.
think that when you work with people that know you very well, and you know them, there's a relaxation that comes from that. And Matt and I had worked on 3 films, so we knew each other, we were comfortable with each other, so I felt relaxed to be able to be vulnerable and to have, and when you're relaxed like that, um you can do anything. um
Magic happens.
well, and that's the thing is also, and there's a wonderful thing where you're not acting, you're being. It's the you're how does the character behave?
Hmm.
And it's that's all about behavior and about like just trying to make the character again, always comes back to me, it always comes back to honesty. And because to me, honesty is interesting, because I think an audience can connect to that, and especially in
Yeah.
something like this, where as you find as you go along, you watching the film, I've had people say, I said, wow, Alan, I didn't like Alan when he made the dark turn. Like I kind of liked Alan. There was kind of a sweetness to him, like almost a little childlike in this desire. I mean, he's a grown man in his 40s, and kind of still holding on to that. My father didn't like respect me. My father didn't love me, and so
Hmm.
but some people found that a little endearing.
Interesting, interesting. I think you're right. People can pick up on that. Um, I never knew why I didn't like Megan Fox's performance. I'll pick on her for a second. But I Raven Wisha, who happens to be in the chat, has worked with Megan Fox,
Oh,
and she reads from a teleprompter. And
oh,
as an actor, if you're reading from a teleprompter and you're reading, you're not gonna really get into your character. So
well,
that's why every time I watch Megan Fox's performances, I'm like, I don't know, she's not doing something right. I don't know why I can't get into her characters, but she uses a teleprompter. So
that's
spoiler
unfortunate to
alert.
hear that. That's unfortunate to hear that, because, well, when you're doing that, you're not. you're not connected to the material, you're not connected to the director's vision. You're thinking about, like, you're looking over the actor's shoulder to make sure you can see the monitor. I mean, like, people used to accuse Brando of that, of not not learning the lines and putting them on cue cards. I've heard of other actors who do that, and sometimes it may have to do with memory or what have you. But yeah, reading lines off a teleprompter, that's, yeah, you're not connected to the material. And an audiences are smart. Audiences are smart. They can,
we can pick up on that, and there's
yeah.
a reason why I'm always like, I don't really like her performance. Well, maybe it's the teleprompter. I don't know.
No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I worked on with many that worked on Transformers and Jonah Hex. Yeah, that's the thing. But so I need to ask you this because I'm very curious about the dynamic of working with Matthew. I know you've done a few things with him, but how
Mhm.
did working with him differ from other indie projects you've led? Particularly in how he directed your character tension with Alan.
He, I mean, of all, think about working with Matt, is that of all of the films that I've done with him, they've all been different, like different kinds of parts that, like, if this were being made into, a major Hollywood film, this is a part that I might not be considered for. So Matt always has a way of seeing things within me as an actor and as a person that maybe I haven't been able to see in myself. And so that's a nice thing, when a director, uh, you know, sees that within you. I mean, he wrote this part with me in mind. The first time we worked together was 2013 on a 48-hour film project in New York, and he was young. I think he was 14 when
Wow.
and he got on, and I got on set, and he's like, okay, I want to have the camera here, I want to do like what Kubrick did. And he's probably one of the most, uh he's a film encyclopedia. And so, and we just hit it off, and I didn't even think about his age or anything like that. I said, this guy knows what he's talking about. And then we did a horror film called, What Jack Built, which was a silent film, kind of like a Moby
Ooh.
Dick kind of piece about a man who becomes obsessed with capturing this beast that we never see. And it's always one of the, if there's a theme that runs through all of Matt's movies, you said the word is obsession. All of his characters have an obsession. In the first film we did, Dark Romance, there was kind of like an homage to Fatal Attraction, where a young female office mate is obsessed with her boss.
Oh
In
gosh.
uh, in what Jack built, this character of Jack is obsessed with capturing this beast. In To Be Alone is about a man who, another silent film. It's a film about a man who's recently, a loved one has recently died, and this man who's very religious, and he becomes obsessed with holding on to his religion and holding on to his faith, but also kind of obsessed with, you know, giving this loved one the proper, appropriate burial. But we find out in the film that maybe the person, his loved one, did not die, or from the circumstances that we think from. And of
Oh,
course the obsession in Protanopia, that
yeah.
once. So it's interesting that, and Matt and I, we have these wonderful discussions about the films and the characters and the direction he wants to go. And I trust him, and we trust each other. And I think
Good.
that is a huge thing when you find a writer and a director who you can go to them with anything, and if you have ideas, you can you can try him out. And if he says no, fine, you move on. But you have the freedom to try things, and that's why I think Matt is such a pleasure to work with. Uh,
Yeah.
and of course, it's always like the parts that I've played in Matt's films have been some of the most unique and challenging projects that I've ever done. I mean, I've been lucky enough to do over 100 movies, but the movies
Whew.
that I've done with Matt are some of the ones that are my favorites because just because they're unique and
Yeah.
they're parts that I may not have been cast in by someone else.
That's an interesting take, and I guess when you work really, really hard on something, it becomes almost a part of you, and you feel more connected to it. If you don't invest, if you're like in a film for like 2 seconds and you're not super really invested, you just get a paycheck, but you're not super invested in it. I don't feel like you'll get the same feeling like if
Hmm.
you invested a lot. I can tell you definitely invested a lot in Alan, so, I can see why that would be one of your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what it's all about. Like, you want to, like in the case of Alan, you kind of see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's hard for actors to be vulnerable, and it's also actors, who of playing being mean and nasty and showing the ugly side. Um,
True.
I'm all about wanting to get my hands in the dirt and playing because it's fun. It's just fun to do. We just had so much fun making this movie because we didn't know really how it was going to turn out. I mean, when we wrapped, it took some time. I think it took about 2.5 years for Matt to put it all together because he had shot so much footage and got it down to the 75-minute running time. And but no, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the film.
That's awesome. So, from an actor's perspective, I want your point of view since we really can't pick Matt's brain on this one. But the title Protanopia refers to a green-red color blindness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the theme of perception, or literally seeing the world differently, drive the visual choices and then the narrative arc that kind of happened in this film?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think that's what makes the film so unique is that, and it's been interesting reading the reviews of the film because there are some people who have gotten that and have really gone along with the film and refer to it as kind of a trippy ride. And there's always going to be, people that it's just not their cup of tea, and that's one of the facts of life is that not everyone's going to buy what you sell, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, no, definitely the device that he used of protanopia of the green and the red. I thought that was a brilliant touch on Matt's part.
Yeah, I did not know what word meant. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, "Oh, red green color blindness. It is a thing that exists, and I would be very sad if I had that because my favorite color is red, and
Yeah.
not being able to see red would kind of make me sad."
Mhm.
So,
And you kind of wonder, like, I've never had a chance to ask Matt this, but like the idea for that, like, where does that come from? Like the inspiration for that, Matt, you see this, and like, did you know anyone who had suffered or experienced protanopia? So when you have him on in the future, Luna, you have to ask him
ooh, I can't wait to pick his brain all about that. And now from kind of an actor's perspective, the promotional materials feature a black and white graphic with a missing person motif and the erased and obscured face. How do you think the design went along with the movie's like visual tone and why it felt so unsettling? Like the when you look at the movie poster, it's unsettling. So how do you think those kind of played together?
I think it all added because it's an unusual movie. You don't know what direction it's going in. And so Matt had all of these visual touches in there that he wants you on edge. Um, but not on edge in a way where like there's going to be jump scares or anything like that. It kind of it, I would call it more of a psychological drama than maybe a horror
Yes.
film. And that this is something, even in the context of a movie, with even with all of the visuals and things like that, it has elements of reality in it, even within the elements of kind of the supernatural and the unusual. But all of those things, when I first saw the film, it it was unusual and but it was unique, but it was all on you're constantly wondering what's around this corner or what's behind that door, and all of the promotional and visual items that Matt did a really marvelous job
Mhm.
of taking the audience on this journey of that he knew that it was going to be. I remember him telling me, he said, this is trippy, and some people are going to dig it, and some are not, and
That's
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 okay.
okay. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. The thing that I liked about this film particularly is that it stays with you because it's so unsettling. I personally don't like jump scares because you go boo and then oh, you get startled and then it's over. It's gone. The scare is done.
Hmm.
But movies that get in your head, that make you think, that make you ponder, after the movie is done, you're still pondering, man, that Alan guy is a fucked up, and it's I like those kinds of films, the ones that make me think, oh, what really happened to Alan? What's going to happen? Like the ones that actually make you care and think. And I don't like movies that just well, they're fun, but I prefer the psychological thrillers that leave a long-lasting impact in the mind.
I know I'm late to the party, but I just saw Obsession for the first time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it knocked me out because that's an example of a movie that I'm still thinking about it. I saw it like a week and a half ago, and I'm
Yeah.
still. And then I just saw the drama, which is not. It's actually that Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, who are brilliant in the film, but that was kind of a psychological, like kind of a psychological drama horror film that of the nature of, do we really know our loved ones, or like, and so those are, I agree with you, like those are the kinds of movies that if you go to the theater and you walk out and you go to the bar and you're sitting there having a drink and you're thinking about the characters or the story, or excuse me, the
Or
direction. If
mhm.
you're doing that for 2 hours, that's the sign of a good movie. I mean, and it makes you want to go
Yeah.
back and see it again. I mean, that's how I am with 2001: A Space Odyssey. The first time
Oh, yes.
I think I was 13 when I first saw it. I didn't understand it, and then I watched it again, and over the years I've seen it, and that's the power of a really good movie. You keep coming back to it. You learn something new from it that and I think it helps as you get older, you pick up on things, like you connect to things much more. And that's just why I love movies.
Yeah, I have seen movies that I've watched when I was a teenager, not having any work experience, life experience, just really much of anything, just going to high school and that's it. And then watching the same film as an adult and having more of that, life and death of a family, death of a pet, just general life happening to you. And then you watch a film and you're like, wow, I miss that. I totally missed the plot of this film when I was growing up. I've had
Yeah.
a few of those moments like that where at different stages of life you might watch it and it might hit you a little different.
Well, and as an actor, it's the same thing. If I had played Alan I'm going to be 50 this year, and I think I did this part when I was 44, 45. If I had played this part when I was 30, I probably would have been acting too much. Whereas
Mm,
when I'm in my mid 40s, I connected to Alan because I I've been there. I've been that level of awkward, and you want to be a people pleaser, and just the loss that, like, I think that was a thing also that I connected to, is that, like, I related to Adam's kind of Alan rather, his pain, his unhappiness from time
mhm,
to time. And I think as you get older, and the more I do this as an actor, that's kind of like, if I read a script that where I think, wow, that I would like to pursue that further, because I can kind of connect the dots on that. And then there are parts that you get where, well, God, this is so unique. This is so far removed from anything that I've ever experienced. But God, I really want to jump in and play this, this kind of part. Like Creatures of Habit, a wonderful short film that I did with a wonderful director, Brian Jones. Um, that was something different, like kind of playing this sort of, it's not real clear what he is. He's kind of like an angel of death in a way. And all you see of me in the film is just this close up of my mouth. You don't see my eyes, and you see this figure in a dark cloak and a hat, and it was fun to play that, because and that's the joy of being an actor, is that every once in a while you get parts that are so far removed from anything else that you've ever done, that you jump at it because you
mhm.
want the challenge. That's The older I get and the more I do this, it's you run towards the challenges, because that's where the good stuff happens.
That's true, that's true. Speaking of challenges, independent films, thrive on constraint. There's just so much constraint, right? What do you think the biggest limitation you faced during, production of this film? Or what do you think was, you know I know you did a lot of the acting. I'm not sure if you did any of the, producing of this, but how do you think that affected the film, or if there was any limitation because of production budgets, etc.?
I mean, we did it on a very shoestring budget. I mean, as one of the producers, Matt did do a campaign, and he made, so for, for feeding the crew, and for, I came in from Ohio
Oh, wow.
to New York, and so travel and things like that, which the campaign gladly, was able to accommodate. But one of the hardest things, I also serve as kind of the press liaison, like getting the film out
Oh, yeah.
to critics, and that, from a producing standpoint, is always hard, because in many ways, from a horror standpoint, this movie is kind of a tough sell, because it doesn't have, some people like jump scares and lots of blood and gore and things like that. And this movie doesn't have that. One of the criticisms of the movie is that some people have considered it too artsy, too arty, or too indie arty. But you just keep getting the film out there as much as possible, and and some people are going to embrace it, and some are not, and again, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody liked the same thing, we'd be so boring and monotonous, and
It's
I'm
Yeah.
glad that we have diversity, more movies for a variety of tastes and likes. So,
Oh yeah. I mean, it's always interesting when, I mean, I was on a film set a couple of years ago, and the director and I were off in a room talking about something, and we heard an argument, a kind of a joking kind of an argument between sound guy and the cinematographer. And we came out, and I said, "What are you guys arguing about?" And he said, "This guy doesn't think The Godfather's the greatest film." And they got into this discussion about like, how do you not like The Godfather? And it's like, hey, he doesn't like The Godfather, but it's like, but like, I mean, liking The Godfather, it's, yeah. So, but it's interesting that, like, yeah, people have diversity, people have different tastes, and the beautiful thing is now, is that there's so much variety now of
Mhm.
movies coming out now. But I always rejoice when this new generation goes back and watches Night of the Living Dead, or George Romero,
Oh,
Hooper,
yeah.
John Carpenter,
Night of the
and
Demons, one of the
oh
best,
yeah,
underrated.
you know all of those movies. And of course they're streaming. I mean, you go on Amazon Prime and you could find so many gems that I just watched Kingdom of the Spiders with Mr. William Shatner.
Ooh,
you know
yeah.
it's a scary movie, and
Mhm.
Shatner's quite good in the film, but like it's a I mean, I would like, okay, not doing a movie with tarantulas, never. No, or spiders, no
Never.
way. No way.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a review over at Horrific Reviews for the 1994 Wolf, and I'm super excited about that. It's got the greatest actor ever.
Jack. I remember when that came out. I remember the
Yeah.
commercials, because when it said like Mike Nichols, I'm a big Mike Nichols fan.
Oh,
It
yeah.
it it's that movie is unlike anything that he ever made. And it's a good movie. I don't think it got the kind of reaction that I think it did. Respectable business, but James Spader is fantastic in it. Of course, any movie, anytime Christopher Plummer, Michelle Pfeiffer, but you got one of the greatest of all time. You got Jack. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Jack's the best.
Jack Nicholson, and I who can't forget Michelle Pfeiffer's performance in, Batman with where she's
Yeah.
Catwoman. To add top tier, man.
Well,
Top
and
tier.
stole it. I mean, I think Annette Bening was the original choice, but we have Warren Beatty to thank for she became pregnant, and I think became unavailable, and then but Michelle Pfeiffer, she stole that movie. She stole it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and no, she was wonderful.
The Godfather is great, but my favorite is still Blade Runner. It's good.
The director's cut of Blade Runner, it's a beautiful film. It's but again, Blade Runner is an example of a movie that there's no other movie like it. And Harrison Ford's the star, but the man, the myth, the legend, Rucker Hauer left us too soon. He
Yeah.
like when he does that final speech, that's like chills.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's like a
Beautiful.
performance that is beyond awards and things like that. I mean, the fact that he improvised that, or I think he improvised it or rewrote, but it's beautiful, beautiful film, beautiful in every way. Makes me want to watch it right now.
Oh, I know. I wanna watch the director's cut. Did you say director's cut?
Yeah, there's a director's cut. I think it was on
Ooh.
Netflix a couple years ago, but because I know that was a troubled production, and but now it was a couple of years ago that I saw it. Like, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, and to me it's the definitive version. I mean, I like the theatrical version, but I know Mr. Ford, I think, did not like the voiceover. So
Aw. Sci-fi film noir detective story as far as Rutger Hauer trying to get Luna to review Split Second. Split
that's on my
Second.
list. That is on my list. It's in my net, because Rucker Hauer, he's an actor that i- after Blade Runner and after The Hitcher, he I don't think he ever got the roles that he deserved to get. I think, I mean,
Yeah.
he always worked. He always did good work, but I always thought like he was one of those, like Powers Booth is another actor, like who always was always a great actor, but he never had that really, really great part that it and it eluded them, but their movies always live on you got character actors like me who always cheer him on.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you ever wanna come back and we can review Split Second together, that'd be awesome. You can
Anytime, any play. Let's do it.
Awesome. Was there a moment while filming Protanopia that, the where the scene took an unexpected turn, where something wasn't on the script, but you were like, "Whoa, that was so awesome, let's put it in."
Wow. I remember there was a scene where I'm down in the basement and I think I'm trying to lure Paula. Janet is down. And I usually don't watch playback. I usually don't.
Yeah.
My feeling is that once it's in the can, it's none of my business. And then, whatever, because you don't want to get attached to like, oh, that's good, and then it not be in the movie. And because
Yeah, post
so
leave that to post-production and all the
yeah.
film
But
editing and all that.
I happened to catch one moment where there was like a moment where I'm kind of Matt's in pretty tight, and I'm just looking up at her, and I just got this little smile that like comes out, and he showed it to me, and I said, "Hope he keeps that," and I think he did, but like that was like an unexpected like little like
Thing.
Alan's enjoying this because I mean, Janice is his enemy,
Yeah.
so
He's
he
just a
said
he's got
he's
that
enjoying
obsession.
this. Yeah, he's enjoying this, and of course Paula was a delight to work with, and so it didn't want to see the demise of her character, but Alan sure did.
Mhm. So, a last little bit of question that I wanted to ask about Pornopia. What do you hope viewers are talking about in the car on the drive home after the credits roll?
Wow. Well, one, I hope they get what Matt was going for, like the kind of story. Uh, I hope they enjoy the ride because it's a unique film. It's unlike any film of that genre that I've ever seen. Um, but no, I hope they're like I hope they care about the characters, like even when they're not doing necessarily nice things. But I hope that the characters make an impression on them, that
Yeah.
they care about them.
Yeah.
So because again, it's like a good movie, you walk out or on the drive home, if you're thinking about, god, I wonder what's going to happen to that to that relationship or to that guy or whatever, and then
Mhm.
that's the mark of a good movie. If you're asking
Yeah.
any of those kinds of questions, that's how you know you have a good movie.
Yes. The last thing you need is everybody feeling apathetic about everything.
Mhm.
Even if somebody goes, "I hate Alan. He's this, he's that, he's that." That's still good. That means you got a reaction out of that person, out
Yeah,
of that viewer. But you don't want no reaction. Yeah, I didn't care about anybody. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
or I mean, someone who just shuts the movie off. And hey, I've gotten, people who said I couldn't after 25 minutes I couldn't finish it. And I said, okay, like I mean it's you wish they stick with it, but it's
yeah.
kind of like any movie. I mean, if it's not their cup of tea, nothing you can do about it.
There's only one movie, and I promise for October I will do a review of this just because it's Halloween and we gotta torture ourselves a little bit. A film called Rubber. After the first time I tried to watch it, I got through 5 minutes of it. I had to stop. Second time I tried to watch it, I got a little further. I got 10 minutes in. This time I want to do a whole review for my Halloween week, where I will be just discussing Rubber. It's about a murderous tire that just goes and rolls around and kills people.
Wow.
It's really bad, but I will try my best to review it.
Have you ever seen The Ginger Dead Man?
No.
The Ginger Dead Man, it stars the amazing, Gary Busey, and he
Oh,
plays. I think he plays like a prisoner who escapes from prison, and he's like a deranged maniac, and he's in a shootout with the police. In a drop of his blood falls into cake batter,
what the hell? What's the name of this
and
film?
somehow from this, the blood that is in there, he turns into a murderous gingerbread man.
So it's called Ginger.
Ginger Dead Man. I think it came out like 10, 15 years ago. But I mean, just to see Gary Busey voice a gingerbread man, a murderous gingerbread man. It ranks up there with like Zombievers in the absolute like
Oh gosh,
what the fuck
yeah.
were they thinking department, you know?
Or Thanksgiving, where the murderous turkey kills people.
Oh
Comes
yeah,
back. I
that
love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is bad, but I got through that one and it made me laugh.
it's bad. Or but like I remember watching Zombievers with my wife, and I think she got about 10 minutes into it, and I look over and she's just glaring at me. She's
Like, what the
like
hell are we
like
doing?
what the hell are you making me watch? Like, you know, right now.
The Ginger Dead Man sounds absolutely hysterical, and I wanna
Oh my
give that
god.
one a try for the especially for Christmas season. That'd be
Oh
fun.
yeah. I mean, even like I mean, just for I mean, I watched it just for Gary Busey because he's just one of those guys that like, you know, you kind of just like, all right, what made him say yes? You know, I mean, so uh
Yeah, he's a well-known actor, so it's interesting. So as we start, Timothy, as we start to kind of close out the show, I did want to ask you what project or goal is next on your horizon?
I have a couple of things coming up. I'm actually going to do a another a horror film in Ohio. Here, they have a wonderful
Ooh.
festival called Fright Film that is based out of the filmmakers from Cincinnati and Columbus and all over. You're given like a prompt, like I think like a specific prop that you have to use, a specific line, and I'm going to be doing a kind of a cool psychological film with a wonderful writer director named Adam Gorman. And matter of fact, we're going to start getting to work on that hopefully in September. And yeah, what I can say is that I play a psychiatrist who maybe has something dark within him that it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to play. And Adam's a great filmmaker, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. And last question as we roll the credits. If you could give one piece of advice to aspiring horror filmmakers, what would that be?
See, read every book, see every movie, go to every museum, listen to every piece of music. Because all of that is going to be, you know, help whatever movie you make. I think you have to have a well-rounded life experience as well. You know, especially in horror, because you know, if you're gonna go, you know, into the depths of darkness and things like that, you got to come in with a lot of experience, you know, so
Oh yeah.
to be able to go there, and of course go back and watch the classics, watch John Carpenter, watch Alfred Hitchcock, watch George Romero, watch you know, any of
Argento.
oh my god, you know, like and because you learn from all of them, and it's
Mhm.
kind of like going to school, like just go and, you know, watch the films and watch them in the order that the director made them. A movie like Romero, Night of the Living Dead, when he made that in 68, and a movie he made 10 years later, he's a completely different filmmaker. He's grown, he's evolved, he, you know,
Yeah.
and so and it's nice to see the growth and the development of a director.
Yeah, definitely. That's great advice. And thank you so much, Timothy, for joining me. Good luck over there with all the fun stuff that you're doing. And I hope you get a lot of recognition for Protanopia. One last comment before we get offline.
Sure.
Hitchcock would always force you several times before he actually scared you. That's awesome. I love how he did his movies. Hmm. Yeah. Good call out. Hitchcock is one of those where it just has left a long lasting impression on cinema, and he's been gone for, he's been gone. But his
1980, yeah,
legacy,
he passed, yeah.
it's scary to think about that the 80s are far away. But the legacy of his films and his work is still here for generations to enjoy. So
Oh, yeah.
keep creating, keep making art. Timothy, we'll have to collab later on Split Second.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have a whole Rucker Hauer night. I mean, no, Luna, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for supporting the film. We Matthew and I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Everybody, check out Protanopia, and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening.